Well, one of the best parts about the end of the week for 8 Days of Hope, and of course there's still one day to go, that's tomorrow, but is that we get a chance to get some follow-up and find out what God's been doing throughout the week. Curtis Conerly, who was with us on Wednesday, he and his wife Belinda were with us for our Spotlight conversation, talking about how they got into ministry, how they came to know the Lord and each other. And Curtis has been heading up the project here at Manhattan Park in Buffalo to redo the Buffalo Vets football complex. This is where a Little League team plays. There's a playground here, a basketball court. There's all kinds of stuff going on. But anyway, Curtis, welcome back to NBL. You have been one busy man this week.
Yeah, Neil, I appreciate you having me back again. It has been crazy. I've had so many people and so many projects going on. It has been an absolute blast, though. I'm in my element. I love doing this stuff.
This is a huge complex, and I'm going to let you describe it, but there's various things that have been going on throughout the week. Your team has been really busy.
Yeah, they have. It's a very complex project because it has so many pieces and so many parts spread out across a large piece of property. So I couldn't think of the word for full, and I told somebody actually yesterday, I said it's like the trifecta plus one when I'm running around out there, like miles at a time, trying to get to each little project going on in the park and just check on the teams and see how things are going.
This is one of the places where the WDCX team served this week, and our own staff was out here helping to paint a fence. And I asked you a question a minute ago, like, what happens if you run out of paint? You had an amazing story to share about just that question alone.
Yeah, it's been crazy because of the pandemic last year. There's a shortage in the country of materials of all sorts. So getting enough paint for all the projects that we're doing around the Maston District this year in Buffalo has been its own challenge. And then when I ran out of paint here at the park and we were painting the fence, you guys from WDCX was out here painting. We started to run out. And I actually had to call up Steve Tiber, our president, and say, hey, brother, can you help me out? He scrambled and he found me paint. Had to go to a few different stores, but he came through.
Apparently, even somebody coming from another state had to stop in Cleveland to get paint for one of the jobs that you guys are working on. There's that much of a shortage.
Yeah, actually, the shortage has been just unbelievable. So we needed some more gray paint because we did a lot of porches, and most of them are gray floors, and we needed that special paint to put on that wood on the porches. So one of our leaders coming up from our headquarters in Tupelo, Mississippi, had to stop in Cleveland and pick up, I think, 20 or 30 gallons of gray paint, and then we had to transfer it to 1-gallon cans so that we can put them on the jobs that they go on to get those jobs done.
Just try to imagine then, for those of you that are listening to this, there's been more than 100 jobs going on around the city this week. And just think about all the details. I mean, even if you were going to paint the shed in your own backyard, you're going to need paint brushes and paint trays and paint and maybe a scraper. There have been porches rebuilt, roofing jobs that have been done, windows replaced. The number of, I'm not even trying to get the correct word here, but the number of details that go into this are astronomical. How do you guys keep this straight?
It's all God, brother, because I don't even know how I keep it straight sometimes either. There's so many people, so many projects going on, with the concession stand and what they call the blockhouses, the bathrooms, the bleachers, the fences, redoing all the mulching around the playground area, and then lots of other little just cleaning up and trimming grass and cutting down a dead tree. It's lots of little things happening at once.
We're near some picnic tables under a picnic shelter here at Manhattan Park. Somebody was working on this. The playground's been worked on. This blockhouse you described, JR Specialties is here to do the partitions in the men's room and in the ladies' room. But other than that, it's been just God's people showing up to do this work.
It has. It's been many of God's people showing up out here. I get my hats off to JR Specialties. They're out here right now as we speak, installing the bathroom partitions for us. They not only donated those petitions, they're actually donating the labor for the install to make sure everything is installed properly, all to benefit the kids. This park here serves a lot of children that come out here to play ball, and all of this playground out here, everything we're doing out here is benefiting the community and the kids and the families that get to come enjoy to watch them young folks in their sports.
Our general manager, Brett Larson, and Josh Myers, who works at our staff, were part of the team that helped with these bleachers over here. That itself was a big project.
That was a huge project. Again, I give my hat off to one of our leaders that I had as a team leader for that project, Tim Connors. I just want to mention his name. He did an amazing job figuring out that huge, complex project, so many parts that he had to figure out how to build it, how to put it together, how to get it here, and then put it together. So we spent a lot of time figuring that out, but it looks awesome, and you guys got to come see it. Everything here looks awesome.
Yeah, so now behind us is the blockhouse, which is where people can, use the restroom and at the park and stuff. But there's another building across the way called the Hut, or affectionately was called the Hut. Lori Harrell was the project manager for that building, but just describe what went on, because apparently the people who know this park came over. They couldn't believe their eyes now looking at what the Hut is all about, and that was like a concession stand.
The football teams and the sports teams here are overseen by an organization called the Buffalo Vets. And the Buffalo Vets, one of their leaders' mother actually oversees the concession stand. So some of those guys were out here, and herself, and were looking at the concession stand, and they were just speechless that the team, led by Lori Harrell, cleaned that thing from top to bottom, repainted everything inside. There's nothing in there that's not been touched. Everything's been scrubbed, cleaned, painted, cabinets, walls. It looks absolutely amazing. We found out, hanging out with some of those guys, that they had a nickname, and they called the concession stand the Hut. So I talked with Lori about that, and there's a board outside on the wall that was doing nothing. We painted it, and I figured we'd get some stencils and write the word the Hut. And she says, let me play with it. I want to take that on as a project. Well, you got to see what she did. It's amazing. She painted a mural on there of a giant burger with the word the Hut running through it. I'm just flabbergasted.
Which is kind of cool, because there's a story in that. Lori's a multi-talented person. You might not know it just seeing her do one thing, but she brought her gifting to the table and said, God, use it. I think that's happened with a lot of people. There's a lot of people out here that are realizing that some of the things they've been good at throughout their lives are all converging in this project when they show up to help.
Yeah, absolutely. Lori has been amazing. I got to spend time, learn. She's got other hidden talents that she never shares with anybody. Artwork is just one of her many talents. All the different folks that have worked out here that have been leaders or team leaders, I got to learn more about them. And I'm just amazed to find out that these servants that are out here on their hands and knees, scrubbing, getting dirty and getting nasty and sweating, some of these guys sit in a desk all day and run companies. I mean, I spent time with a gentleman yesterday. He's the president of a company, and a company south of here, about 7 hours. You just never know when you're working with folks who they are or where they come from.
And it's amazing, because when you say yes to God, God will use you in ways that you can't imagine. Some people are being stretched beyond what they consider to be their own capability, but other people are seeing giftings that they have kind of shelved for the past 20 years because they're sitting at a desk, now coming back to fruition. And that's just exciting, because it's the body of Christ in action, and it's God's working through people.
Absolutely. You know, the one thing that I love about 8 Days of Hope and the family that we have joined together under God's guidance and leadership, and we do everything in prayer. Always, we cover everything in prayer. Is when you join this family, you get, the bug, and you don't. And so many people I meet, even the gentleman I met yesterday, is now talking about retirement, buying an RV, and getting more involved. Once you work with us, it's hard to go away. It's just you just get the bug, and you just want to be with us all the time.
I told you a minute ago that as we walked out of the brick house that there's a door frame that needs to be painted. I love painting. I was getting the bug. If I wasn't doing this radio interview, I'd be painting that frame.
Well, I said, put your mic down and come on, brother. Let's go. I got a brush for you.
Well, there's an awful lot of folks listening right now, Curtis, that are hearing these kind of stories about what God's doing in our city. It's an amazing thing. But tomorrow's the last day, so people do have an opportunity to come out, and whatever you're gifting, come and join us, Curtis. I know that you would encourage anyone to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. All talents are needed. We're not done. We always finish strong. We have another whole day to go. So if you're out there and you're hearing this, please come on to registration at All High Stadium. Check in, work for the day. We still need painters. We still need folks to do lots of other things out there that need to be finished up. We want to make sure we finish every project. That's always our goal, and we've always reached our goal because God is always with us. So come out and be a part of something big, something that'll change your life forever.
This has been so good, but let's finish even stronger. Tell the story about the woman who stopped just to say thank you.
Oh, that was amazing. We were out here working by the blockhouse yesterday. This car pulled up, and this lady come up carrying bags, and I had no idea where that was headed. Well, she blessed us tremendously. She says, I just come to tell you guys thank you. And I thought we did something on her house. And she says, you guys did not pick me, and you didn't work on my house. She goes, but that's okay. She goes, because I have family and friends and neighbors that y'all did help. And so I brought these 2 bags filled with all these goodies she had in them. She says, I just want to say thank y'all for loving my neighbors. Thank y'all for coming to my community and loving on my community. And it was just filled with all kinds of candies and cookies and tater chips and just all sorts of things just to bless us to have for snack time.
They have any fried catfish in there?
No, that would have been nice. How about some boiled crawfish? That would have been even better.
Curtis Conerly from Louisiana, he and his wife Belinda are missionaries with 8 Days of Hope. We're going to be interviewing them again to hear more about their story in the weeks ahead. But Curtis, thank you for loving and serving our city.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure. It's all my pleasure to be here. I have met so many great people in Buffalo. It's become my second home now. If I had to live someplace else, this would probably be high on the list of considerations.
All right. Well, we'd love to have you. God bless you. Have a great final day of 8 Days of Hope.
Thank you, guys. And thank you, WDCX, for all what you guys did here at the park and throughout this whole project.